Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at the 10 craziest things judges have ever done. So in the news right now, there's a lot of people questioning the actions of judges. But here are some really crazy and wacky judges who did some weird things. From acting crazier than the people they're judging in court to dishing out some very creative punishments. Before we get into it, why not subscribe and press the notification bell too. Coming in at number 10, we have Alone in the Woods. In 2005 in Ohio, a woman was on trial for abandoning 35 kittens. Obviously that's a very sad thought, as these kittens did not fare well when they were abandoned. She was sentenced in the court by Judge Michael A. Cincinnati, but he gave her a very strange and creative punishment. He wanted her to understand what those 35 kittens felt like when they were abandoned in the middle of nowhere. Park rangers actually found the 35 abandoned kittens in 2 different words. So as part of this woman's punishment, Judge Michael A. Cincinnati made her spend 2 nights in the woods all alone. She had to spend 2 nights in the woods without water, food, or entertainment. Now, you may think this is very harsh, but this is literally like getting a taste of your own medicine. I think it was Gandhi who said, "An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind." But this judge clearly does not care about that. But things don't get much better for the woman named Michelle Murray. As well as spending 2 nights alone in the woods, she also had to make a $3,200 donation to the Humane Society. She also had to spend 15 days under house arrest and give $500 to the park rangers who found the kittens. I have to say, this judge was not messing about and must really love kittens. Next up is red tape. So judges get caught up in a lot of red tape. Red tape is of course slang for paperwork and files. But it seems one day a judge got so tired of red tape he decided to give some out to a convict. This one happened in 2018 in Ohio yet again. One day a man named Franklin Williams was on trial for various things. He was accused of robbery, credit card fraud, among other things. He was up against Judge John Russo. But Franklin made the big mistake, which was speaking over the judge. Franklin shouted out, "You're trying to take my life and you're not letting me tell you what's going on." Russo gave him a bunch of warnings to be fair. He said, "Mr. Williams, I am the judge in this matter. Shut your mouth and I will tell you when you can talk. Got it?" He then said, "Listen to me, if I have to, I will gag you. You will get a chance to talk." He then said, "Zip it and you will get a chance to talk later. I'm going to give you a chance to talk." But apparently Franklin just kept talking, so he decided to tape his mouth shut. I'm sure your teachers in school joked with you saying they're going to duct tape your mouth shut. But this judge really did it. He grabbed a bunch of red tape and taped this guy's mouth shut. Franklin said this was very humiliating, and the American Civil Liberties Union of Ohio criticized the judge's actions. But comment below whether you think this judge was justified or not. Next up is haircut. So here's another instance of an eye for an eye. One day, Caitlin Lopan and her friend were on trial for bullying a girl. That's right, these 2 teens were bullying a 3-year-old girl at a McDonald's. But I don't mean bullying by name calling, they actually cut off this 3-year-old girl's hair. The judge was so enraged with Caitlin, she told her she had to get a bad haircut. That's right there in the courtroom, she made Caitlin get a bad haircut as punishment. This is a very creative punishment, but did the judge go too far? Next up is savage judge. So judges are supposed to be very professional, but it's clear from this list sometimes judges can lose their cool. Well, that's exactly what happened in 2014 to Judge John McBain. One day a woman named Camille Gamut was on trial for taking the life of her boyfriend. One of the family members was speaking about how sad it was that he'd passed away in court. But while the boyfriend's family member was giving a heart-wrenching speech, Camille said, "Is that it?" She very rudely interrupted, and that's when the judge went crazy. The Michigan judge, John McBain, got very angry and was shouting at Camille. He said, "Shut your mouth or I'm gonna put some duct tape on it." That's right, just like the judge from before, except he didn't actually do it. But what he did say made everyone's jaw drop, including Camille's. He said, "I hope you die in prison." Judges are supposed to be fairly impartial and only rely on facts. But it looks like Judge John McBain really did lose his cool. Camille was given a life sentence, so she may well pass away in jail. But it's pretty crazy a judge said this in court and stunned everyone. Next up is #sorry. So this one took place in France in 2012. One day a man named Fluzin Baptiste was complaining about his local politicians on Twitter. But he was complaining in a very rude way. He called one of them a son of a B and another a big S. That's right, I can't even say the words on YouTube. I'm sure it sounded a lot more fancy in French, but these politicians didn't really care about that at all. Instead of roasting them back on Twitter like some other politicians may do, I'm looking at you, Trump. No, instead what they did was suit him for defamation. The court actually agreed with the politicians who were roasted on Twitter, and they gave the man a pretty bad sentence. Not only did he have to pay 5,000 euros, he also had to send 466 apology tweets. The tweets all had to say, "I have severely insulted Jean-Francois Cope and Nathalie Husk-Moritz. I regret and I apologize." That's right, just like Bart Simpson repeating the same thing over and over again on a chalkboard, he had to do the same thing on Twitter. I'm sure he lost a lot of followers from this, as I can imagine that being very, very annoying. Next up is dog in school. So here's one which will really leave you scratching your head. And this is another one from Judge Michael Cincinnati, who made the woman spend a night in the woods all alone. One day a man named Robert M. Clark was up on trial. Much like the woman who'd abandoned kittens, this guy had actually taken the life of a dog. That's right, he took the life of many people's favorite animal. But instead of sending the guy to prison, he made him dress up like a dog and go into a school. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want a dog killer walking around my school. He had to dress up as Safety Pup and teach kids about safety. But don't you think it's creepy they sent a dog killer dressed as a dog into a young kid's school? Next up is See No Evil. So while it may be slightly naughty, there's nothing wrong with watching an adult video from time to time. But one thing that will land you in hot water is stealing from an adult video store. Well, one day a man named Jeremy Sherwood did exactly that. He stole a videotape from an adult store and walked out without paying. He was eventually caught up to, and his very embarrassing crime was in all the papers. Yeah, I bet he regretted not just paying the $20. Anyway, the judge gave him a very creative punishment. The judge clearly was not a fan of stealing or adult videos. So he made him stand outside on the roadside wearing a sign saying "See No Evil." And to top it all off, he also had to be blindfolded during this entire experience. I think next time Jeremy will just use the internet like the rest of us. Next up is Chicken Suit. So we've seen one man dress up in a dog suit, so I'm sure you know where this is heading. One day, 3 men in Painesville pleaded guilty to trying to solicit an undercover cop. This didn't work out well for them, and the judge gave them a very funny and creative punishment. Their punishment was to walk around their hometown dressed as chickens. They were dressed in chicken suits the entire time. Now, you may be wondering, what's the significance of a chicken suit? Well, they also had to hold signs saying "No Chicken Ranch in Painesville." You see, the chicken house is a place where what they tried to do is legal in Nevada. So it's clear the judge who dished out this sentence did not want the same thing happening in Ohio. Next up is long walk. So you may think walking is not much of a punishment. Well, unless you're really, really unhealthy, but most people don't mind a quick walk. Well, one day a woman named Victoria Bascom refused to pay her taxi driver. She tried to skip the fare, but she was caught out and went to court. Instead of giving her a fine or a prison sentence like normal, the judge actually gave her a very creative punishment. The judge said she had to walk the entire distance of her cab ride. The only thing was, her cab ride was 30 miles. That's right, Victoria had to walk for 30 miles without any breaks. This took her a whole 10 hours of constant walking and must have not been fun for her whatsoever. And on top of that, she also had to pay back the taxi driver for her fare. Check out the poll in the top right corner to vote for the craziest thing a judge has ever done. Personally, I think it's the red tape, as that is going a bit too far in my opinion. If you guys want more amazing videos, check out my second channel. There'll be a link to my second channel on screen in a moment. But as always, thank you for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.